TPS calibration pot allows you to override the TPS and manually control it too. So if you're cruising down the highway and you got your cruise control set, you're going at set speed, you can reach over there and you can tweak that and adjust your, I was doing that on the highway when I was going to California and back, hundreds of miles in the desert, and I don't know how many have seen it, but I have a picture on my website, bobboyce.org. You can actually see the display where I tweaked it, and I had it at 63.3 miles per gallon coming across I-40 at 60 miles an hour, and I was doing that for a long time. There's points in the desert where I was able to tweak it and get actually over 80 miles to the gallon, and at times had it actually pegged out. It only reads up to 99.9. Can't go over that, but those instances are rare where you can get flat road and not having to change your throttle, and then you can tweak it. You can actually dial it in those instances. And then when you're ready to go back on TPS control, you just turn that control back down to automatic, and you're back to the generic. And the generic, it's not going to be as good as fine-tuning it yourself, obviously, for the engine speed, but it gives you better than just setting the flow rate and leaving it at one rate for everything. Yes. Yeah, it runs cooler. Yeah, it runs cooler. As long as you have your flow rate matched to your engine speed, it runs cooler. If you go over, it starts running hotter because you're starting to buck your ignition timing because your piston's still coming up and it's igniting too soon. Yeah, that's when you go when you're going over and you're starting to fight your existing fuel. Yeah. It's done electronically. No, it's all electronic. It's how it drives the cell. It's providing pulses of energy to the cell, and it's varying the width of the pulse width, applying more energy or less energy depending on need. Yeah, and the programming actually has some hysteresis to it. What it does is when it accelerates, it ramps up production faster than what is needed in order to force the cell to come up faster, so that you get quicker response. And then once it gets up there, then it tapers back down. You follow me? So it's like an accelerator pump on a carburetor. It's actually shoving more current than what you need just to get up to speed, and then it backs it back down once it gets up there. So it's actually driving the cell harder intentionally to get the production faster going up, and then it tapers back down. So, yeah. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. And the best way to test the potency is put it into an engine and see what kind of improvement you get out of it. Compare it. Lighting it, they'll all burn, but some of them go bang real loud, and some of it just does a little pop, and some barely even burns. Like something with a baking soda cell, you don't have the oxygen in there, so you can light the stuff and it doesn't go bang really loud because it's got other gases diluting it. Exactly. That's the problem. A lot of these cells, I call them boiler makers or steamy behemoths, they run them so hot that they essentially put out a lot of water vapor, or they connect it to the vacuum, engine vacuum, which lowers the partial pressure and causes the water to boil at a lower temperature. Affects it. Well, that's pressure, yeah. So what we try to do, we run them at very low pressure. In fact, typically less than 1 psi on these systems. And because we don't want it getting too high in pressure, we also don't want vacuum because we don't want to give you a false effect. You have vacuum there, you can turn that little bit of gas into a lot of gas by putting it under partial pressure. And it's 4 liters per minute until you bring it up to pressure, to ambient pressure, and it's back to the same. And then once you take the output and run it through a dryer, we use a desiccant canister. We actually run it through a desiccant, remove the water vapor so we can get accurate measurements of the gas flow. Because we don't want to measure water vapor. measure actual gas.
Could you explain the difference between ortho and parahydrogen?
Okay, parahydrogen is the type of hydrogen you get typically out of a hydrogen tank, tanked hydrogen. That's the lowest energy form of hydrogen. There's nothing lower in the energy state for normal hydrogen. That you can artificially create some lower energy hydrogen, but all right. Orthohydrogen is still diatomic hydrogen. It's just I don't know if any of you are familiar with particle theory, particle physics. The rotation, the direction of rotation, of spin of the particles within an atom. Orthohydrogen, you have the opposite spin on one of the electrons, or one in the diatomic atom is spinning in the opposite direction, and this creates an additional amount of energy. So when it decays from spin in one direction to spin in the other, becomes parahydrogen, the energy state of the atom lowers.
And what are we producing here?
Depends upon the type of process used, but this type of process typically generates about 70% orthohydrogen, about 30% parahydrogen, which means that the gas has 70% more energy content than tank hydrogen because of the extra spin energy involved. It comes from when the gas is created. So when gas is created, actually some of this gas is created as monoatomic. And then when it joins up, it first joins up, it's going to join up its ortho. And then it decays from ortho to parahydrogen. The process of creating it makes it that way. Well, he was hoping to have the first batch ready for this week, but he had something come up where he had to fly out to California and was unable to make that deadline. But he did allow me to bring this unit to debut it today at the show here, so y'all can see what's coming. And you'll know because he is contracted an advertising agency that's supposed to take this nationwide with a very high advertising budget, just to get the word out. Yes.
You know, I worked in nuclear power for 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a strong believer in it. We did no pollution.
Right.
Except for a minor environmental
leaks, right? Occasional leaks, right?
We monitored it very strongly.
Yes.
And I take offense here. But I missed what you were saying, so